think my voice will carry.
That'll help.
Well, I really feel like that I'm in the Lord's will.
Oh,
I mean, not that I come to make a speech or nothing, but what I mean, I prayed about coming down here. I wanted to come so bad. And you know, when your children's working and it makes a difference. And I tried to pray earnestly. And so it just turned out that I'm here. The oil helped me to get my car, you know, the oil changed and just washed it. May not look like it now, but anyway, it just worked out. And I still, you know, some of them said I could come with them tomorrow night and I wouldn't have to bring my car. Well, I talked on the phone because Brother Perryman took a 6-bell last night. Well, I believe it was before they left the church. I'd already left. But anyway, I called to see about him, and there was a couple here last night. Kenny and Karen Stewart were here last night, and so they had talked to the preacher, and Brother Perryman was feeling better enough to work today. But I was just going to tell you, how come we be here tonight? That when I talked to Sister Perryman, and so she told me that Kenny had called Brother Perryman, come and help him do some work, you know. Well, she said they went down to the meeting last night, and she said it was real good. And I mean, them 2 words, real good. All right. And I've already felt the presence of the Lord. I thought, well, I know Nell is always ready to go to church, you know. And anyway, I called her, and I thought at first maybe she wasn't feeling good last night. Well, she was feeling all right to come. But whenever I just feel like it was God's will for me to be here tonight now. I've already felt the presence of the Lord. You know, they say optimism is the knowledge of hidden reserves, you know.
All right.
Did you know there's hidden reserves? Well, it'll make you happy.
All right.
In different ways. When you apply this to salvation, I feel my hidden reserves tonight.
All right.
I guess one reason made me think about that was as we were driving along, there's so many rocks between here and Joplin, you know. And I seen this good-sized tree sitting right up on top of a rock, and it didn't look like there's too much soil for the size of the tree.
Lord.
But I thought about that. The consciousness of hidden reserves makes the difference.
All right.
And I have read, you know, I went out in the Rocky Mountains, and you'll see a tree looks like it's growing straight out of a rock, you know.
All right.
And I wondered about that they say when you see that, there's some little rivulets of water. There's some little rivulets of water coming in that rock somewhere or other.
All right, all right.
Woo! I feel the living water tonight.
All right.
All right.
Woo! I'm conscious of hidden reserves.
Yes.
Woo! That's their own nature. All nature is growing from hidden reserves.
All right.
Those tree roots go way down in there to get the moisture.
Yes,
Well, I tell you, there's a way we can have hidden reserves no matter what comes or whatever goes.
Yes,
I'm so thankful.
Yes,
So thankful that we have a king that we can depend upon. About the time maybe while we were singing that song about He's My King, I got to thinking about, you know, in a lot of the countries across the ocean, they have families. If you're in the family, and you know, you're heir to the throne.
That's right.
You're heir to the throne.
That's right.
You found everything: adultery, insanity, greediness, and some of those kings wallow in wealth, you know, and some of their subjects just living in pure poverty, you know. But our king is different. He looks after a little somebody like me. What a king! What a king! He looks upon somebody like me. But just a little girl, he saved me. He's kept me year by year by year. And here I am past 75 years old. And he's still giving me tender love and care. Woo! it goes past eternal strains of praise. A little whisper. Trace it. Eternal strains of praise. It goes past that and it reaches the divine ear of God. It touches the infinite heart. It moves the omnipotent arm. Woo! And sends troops of angels there on ministries of mercy. And it also sets in motion trains of events and showers blessings down on the one that whispered it. What a little whisper will do. A little sincere whisper. And mine was little pitiful whispers. But I tell you, it done something for me, Sister Brother. I haven't got over it, and I don't want to get over it because He's my King. I may be just a little subject, but He takes good care of me. He takes good care of me, and He's brought me from a mighty, mighty long way. I've got a lot of mileage on me, and He's come every mile with me. And I'm glad to be in the presence of the Lord. And last night I mentioned this in our church. It come to me because a preacher got up. I'm not going to take the whole night. Don't worry. But I was thinking about how Brother Perryman mentioned the blood of Jesus, and what it would do. And I got to thinking about DeWitt Talmage, that wonderful old preacher. There's people up in heaven. They're all going to come back and get us, the ones that's up there. I can't understand it all. I mean, some of these good old time like John Newton, that song you singing a while ago, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. I want to see. I want to see some of these old patriarchs. And I'm on my way. I feel like I've got the biggest part of my journey with. But what I started to say was I was thinking about Brother Perman mentioning the blood, and DeWitt Talmage said he went, I believe it was to one day or night, he went to this African church, and he said he had heard Amazing Grace. No, there is a fountain filled with blood. This is what he was talking about. There is a fountain filled with blood. He said he had heard the four of the, it would be a quartet, what we call it, said perched up in the balcony, and they sang so, their best and fancy and all. I guess they maybe put on airs, and he talked like it didn't do much for him, and he'd heard Amazing Grace different times. But he said in this service, one of those women started up, there is a fountain filled with blood, drawn from Emmanuel's veins, and sinners plunged beneath the flood, lose all their guilty stains. You know what it done for him? That song come from the heart. The others might have been trying to sing fancy, but that song come from the heart. He said, I actually saw the blood. I actually saw the blood, red, sacrificial, redemptive. He said, and I heard the splash, but we all went up. Singing from the heart makes the difference. Singing from the heart, you can sing from the voice box, but when it gets way down in the heart, I tell you, he said, I actually saw the blood. He got carried away. He got a long ways to actually see the blood. Now, for him, he did. He did. It was red, redemptive, and sacrificial. And he said, I heard the splash when we all went under. There is a fountain. There is a fountain. I'm glad it was opened in the house of David for sin and uncleanness. And here we are. Here we are tonight. Brother Brown, we're still shouting over it. We're still shouting over it. Well, I guess that's enough. I'm glad to be here.
You're sure tonight.
Yeah, that's enough.